But of course, also, Gana Pasi, thanks a lot to you and your team of Bulgaria, with whom we were able to realize this event. It's, of course, very good to have partners like yourself and your team, in which we can do so in a very liberal spirit. But I would also extend, of course, my thanks to and gratitude to all the speakers and discussants of this podium, which was a lively political debate, and also the former podium, which was maybe a more structural, thoughtful one. But this is also important in a time like this, where we are shortly before European elections. I think at least we had a very fruitful dialogue in which all the important issues were raised that are at stake when dealing not only with the European elections, but also with the topic of Bulgaria and the EU. From a general perspective, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite obvious that not all wishes and expectations that were realized through Bulgaria's accession to the European Union. I will at this point, of course, not try to even repeat the main issues that we've discussed here this afternoon, but just make a few general remarks. My first remark is that, as a matter of fact, there is no real alternative anymore but membership in the European Union, neither for Bulgaria nor for any other of the new member states, nor for, I might add, nor for the old member states, for Germany, for instance. Don't think that the questions that you have and the topics that you discuss about dreams that are unfulfilled are a Bulgarian priority. The same sort of things, structurally at least, are being discussed in my country, for instance, in Germany. You here in Germany, in Bulgaria, have your parties in which these days and weeks essentially lead an election campaign against the established structures, but also against the very nature of the EU. And we have those parties in Germany as well. Criticism of the EU is today a European phenomenon. We have to deal with it, but we also have to acknowledge that not everything is well in the EU, and we have to try to improve. An open debate such as this can only help in this regard, but it is, of course, a very long-term process. What makes me optimistic for the Bulgarian case is that, according to a poll which I read, 71% of the citizens of this country believe that Bulgaria's problems can be solved through and with the help of the EU. I don't know whether this poll contradicts what was said earlier by Professor Gerchikov, but maybe they are in compliance with one another. That is indeed an impressive figure, and it shows that there is still a lot of confidence here in this country in the EU. It is perhaps less surprising if one looks at the development of Bulgaria over the recent years. Yes, it is true, Bulgaria is still said to be the poorest member within the European Union, but the average GDP has increased from 28 to 44% of the mean average of Europe, which means, in short, that people live today better than they lived a decade ago. Despite all the dreams that have not come true, people realize that their living standard has increased because of Bulgaria's membership. Yes, it is true, not everyone benefits from the opportunities of a borderless Europe, and Bulgaria is still not a member of the Schengen area. We've just discussed this. But just look at the big number of people who do identify with Europe, who work or study abroad, and realize individual chances, which would have remained nothing but unfulfilled dreams had Bulgaria not been a member of the European Union. In short, for Bulgaria, as for any other member of the EU, stepping away from the Union would mean stepping away from markets, limiting individual chances and opportunities, and ignoring or even antagonizing European norms and values, including the European understanding of the rule of law. In short, there is no real or realistic alternative for all of us than the European Union, and there is no alternative but to engage in the process of improvement. And this is what you and your parties try to do. This is why we have elections, and this is why you also try to persuade the citizens to do what is best. This is a long process, as I said, but the overwhelming majority of the citizens want us to follow this path. Second, yes, 71% of Bulgaria's citizens put their hopes and demands in the European basket, but this figure shows at the same time that they have only very limited expectations, it seems, from their own politicians. They have good reasons for that, and I'm not going to dwell on this fact in more detail. I'm a guest in this country, and it's not my role to do so publicly, but I would just like to mention two aspects which worry us, and in which we from the Liberal Foundation, the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, also work in, namely the aspects of freedom of press and corruption. According to a recent index of the organization Reporters Without Borders, Bulgaria slipped from position 36 in 2006 to position 100 in 2014. By the same token, Bulgaria fell in the corruption index of Transparency International from position 57 in 2006 to position 73 in 2013. The ranks are very bad, and the trend is a catastrophe. And frankly, in my view, I can say that after 3.5 years in this country, I think they throw a dark shadow of the quality of democracy, transparency, and competition, open competition in this country. And these, in addition to also rule of law, are inexplicably linked to investment, openness, and reliability of markets, to a fruitful business atmosphere, and thus to the improvement of the living condition of the people. Certainly, in my view, Bulgaria has to do something about this, especially to reverse the trend. But foremost, this is a Bulgarian task. It's not a European task. It's a Bulgarian task. It's also not triggered by being a member of the European Union. These things that I just mentioned would somehow be the same if not being a member of the European Union. So, Europe can help and assist in this, I hope, also the example of other countries, the dialogue, the connections, but it remains a Bulgarian task. Over the last months and year, however, we have seen that the civil society of this country is very much aware about these shortcomings and very much willing to do whatever it can to change them. This is a good and positive sign. Bulgaria's democratic potential is not dead, but it is developing. It's hopefully becoming stronger. People have started to participate effectively in public affairs, and they have also no reason whatsoever to stop. I, for my part, am optimistic that the rest of Europe and the world will hear more astonishing news about the development of Bulgarian democracy in the years to come. And I'm grateful that the Friedrich Naumann Foundation is part of this process and can support the liberal partners in this endeavor and work for more freedom and a more balanced integration, maybe, in the European context. Ladies and gentlemen, it was mentioned now that this is actually the last time that I address you in my role as Regional Director for Central East and Southeast Europe, South Caucasus and Central Asia of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation. After 3.5 years in this position, I will leave Sofia next Sunday, and later this summer I and my family will move on to Cairo, to Egypt. Which means a new task. I was just asked in the break whether this is a promotion or a degrading, and I'm still not quite sure, but it will be very difficult. I will have the same role, maybe that of regional director this time of our Middle Eastern and North African projects. As you can imagine, this is quite a challenge for us, both professionally and personally as a family. Cairo has about 16 million inhabitants, roughly the same as New Delhi, where we lived before, which means for me and my family that for the second time we live in a city which has more than twice as many inhabitants than this country has. I can assure you, from this perspective alone, Sofia is a nice, cozy, unproblematic, and easygoing place. You may think that you have seen traffic jams while sitting in Bulgaria Boulevard for 20 minutes, but I'm going to show you some photos on Facebook in a few months, how the real traffic jam looks like. Besides, you can never lose your way in Sofia. Once you don't know where you are, you just continue driving in the same direction. Finally, sometime, the Vitosha mountain will come up, and then you know where to head. I found this always very easy, and I'm going to miss my Vitosha mountain also. But for those of you who are interested, we have, my family and I, we have already found a place to live. There are quiet areas as well in Cairo, no bombs, no riots, no tear gases, and so I hope we will manage, and inshallah, we will also survive. These past 3.5 years have been very exciting for me. As regional director, I had the excellent opportunity to travel extensively in the region, meet a lot of interesting people, get first-hand information about the rapid developments of transformation and change, and also learn a lot about Europe, European history and European cultures, and at the same time also about Germany. Germany's role and Germany's image, both in the past and at present. Very lucky that I was able to make all those experiences. Personally, my family and I had a wonderful, a very good time here in Bulgaria, and as much as we look forward to our new prospects in a different cultural setting, we also need to sadden hearts. I had the good luck to work with superb colleagues here in our office in Sofia and the entire region, and I would like to take this opportunity and thank this team of dedicated and hardworking colleagues in Sofia and beyond in the region, and wish them good luck and personal happiness in the years to come. You will later this year have the opportunity to meet my successor, which is a man called Dr. Rainer Adam, who currently resides in Bangkok. He will be here in September, coming from 14 millions to Sofia, so it's also a change for him, but I'm sure that he will have some sort of the same experience as I have, namely develop quickly a deep affection for this country, the city, and its people. In the meantime, my colleague Family Kadik will carry the flag of the Lama Foundation alone here in Sofia, but I'm sure he will have a excellent job in this as well. Last but not least, I wish all of you, our friends and partners, personal happiness and fulfillment, and naturally success in your different activities for our common cause, namely a world of freedom. Thank you very much, and I would now like to invite you for the dinner reception, which at the same time is my farewell reception. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing that endless